Hello and welcome to an extra special Quicc Games this week, where I am joined by Mike and Jason, who are the co-founders of Quicc, technically my bosses. I am the rose between two thorns.
Whoa.
We did just drop that one in there early, just getting out of the way. So we are talking today about Quicc and things that are changing in Quicc, and we're going to go through some war stories. We're going to talk about some battles. We're going to talk about some changes. We're going to talk about the joyous moments that have been COVID-related lockdowns and changes in markets. Talk about all that stuff, and we're also going to be talking about some of the really kind of interesting changes we've got coming to Quicc to help all our customers and other creators and influencers and partners we are connecting with to like massively amplify their brands. So welcome, Mike and Jason. How are you? I feel it's weird. I'm kind of like looking to the left and right. I'm not quite sure if this is going to work.
Good morning, Dan. Good to see you.
Sorry, good morning, Mike. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. Thanks.
Jason.
It's good to see you, Dan.
It
It's
is.
like all of our other Zoom calls.
It's like I can do this and just, we call them wet willies, right? Where you kind of
Hey,
put your finger and stick them in
get
the
that
ears
finger.
of people.
Dan, get that finger out of my ear now. Come on.
Oh, this stream is going to go downhill really quickly.
I hope not.
So, where should we start? Because let's face it, this year has been, for Quicc, a challenging time, shall we say?
It's been like a challenging breakthrough year, I feel like.
That's a good way of putting it.
Weird. Weird good, weird bad, weird all around.
Yeah, I echo what Jason said. I think it's been a weird, challenging year. But, I think in either scenario, COVID or non-COVID, I think we all expected with this product that we were going to have a breakthrough year. It's just the means that we went about getting there totally changed from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Like, we thought we were going to be hanging out with a lot of you, our creative friends out there, sharing drinks together, high-fiving, talking face-to-face. Turns out, maybe not that, but all the other things. And then it turns out we had to do all of that stuff virtually. So the methodology has changed, but fortunately the result has been the same, which is some great successes for the company this year.
Yeah, well, like by now, if we went with version 1.0 of our actual plan that we started the year with before lockdown and everything kicked in, we would have been at social media marketing world, video marketing world, VidCon, both of them, Anaheim and London. I was planning on being in Seattle and then going up to Vancouver. We were going to be doing 7, 8 different events, like in-person events, and all the media that goes with it. And February, March time, we were like, okay, that's changed.
Yeah, and don't forget South by Southwest. I mean, you talk about an event we were so looking forward to be able to go down to Austin, participate in that event, speak from stage. I mean, what a wonderful opportunity that got swept away. But you know what? Like everything in life, you deal with it, you adjust, and you come up with a new game plan.
And we did. And we didn't knee jerk either. So I'm not blowing our own horns or anything here. That's a bit of a UKism. I don't know if that's an American term as well. But
we call it toot your own horn over here. But same thing.
Okay, tooting. See, tooting to us, tooting is an area of London. And tooting is also, I'm not going to say anything rude or anything. The HR kind of like dragon doesn't need to come out. It's
radar.
Fine.
Boop, boop,
it's like beep,
boop,
beep,
boop.
beep, 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 beep. No, not the HR DAR doesn't need to come out. So tooting to us is when you're driving along and someone cuts you up or something in the car and you honk the horn. If it's a small car, like a little kind of like dinky car or like a little hatchback or something, and it's got like, a non kind of like aggressive horn, that's called tooting because it goes toot toot, not honk.
Yeah.
Tooting.
Yeah.
There you go.
My nephews think it's a completely different thing.
I'm not going to go there.
Let's not. So you were saying, Dan?
What was I saying?
Well, you were saying, listen, that we don't want to blow our own horn or toot our own horn in this case, but
we don't. Segues aside, but I do honestly think we've done quite well. In light of all of the challenges and all of the craziness, we did a massive about face, and not only us, but many of our partners did, and it was a big scramble. And I mean, of course, the beginning of the year, I mean, Jason can share with you some of those as well. The throughput that we had going through the Quicc platform, what was it, like 10, 15x?
It's like 10x.
10x. It was insane within weeks. So like the infrastructure overhead of that, like all the other like knock-on impacts of just having like a huge increase in utilization, and our partners and people we work with were no different. You know, they were scrambling for months just trying to keep ahead of the game. But you know, pulling together, we kind of did it, and I think there's a bit of a testament to that and worthwhile mentioning.
Absolutely. And the three of us on this call are the forward-facing pieces of that, right? But let's acknowledge our dev team behind the scenes, right? Man, those guys have just been
have they slept?
Putting forward some tremendous work. We've got some other folks who have been on this show, right? Claire and Bree, who are also putting in a lot of time on that. And Jason, let's plug our support team, right? And the job they've done too behind the scenes, kind of keeping all the wheels turning when there were some questions, some challenges with product that creators for the first time when they're encountering Quicc tend to want to ask about, and the support team has done a great job of fielding those as well. So
yeah, it's been incredible. And one of the things I just looked up because I was curious about this. Do you guys know that since COVID happened, we have doubled our users?
I did know that.
Did you, Dan? Because I don't know that you have database access.
But I see all the users coming into funnels.
Okay.
So yeah.
He does see the traffic side of that.
Yeah. I did know that, but it's great, isn't it?
It's cool. I feel really humbled too, because I know all of the people that I've met and connected with, even just in the last year and a half, and prior to COVID, right, in person and online, and friends in Australia now, friends that we have in San Diego and California that we meet at Social Media Marketing World, and really all over the world. Like, it just keeps exploding, and meeting the people is like, that's where you get to see the incredible change that happens when a product connects with people. And I really like that. It's why I love being a part of the support process as much as I can be. I think that is so valuable to us understanding how to build product, how to think about, what are the pieces that really open up creators' workflows and bring more time back to the table for them, enable them to focus on being creative and get away from the kind of monotonous chores that they have to do when going through video production.
I think there's also been a massive shift as well, isn't there? Our users alone, there's been a huge learning curve. I hope we've helped to ease that learning curve for many of them. And I mean, I literally, as you guys know, some people watching may or may not know, I was just about 35 minutes ago, I just finished doing a speaking presentation slot with Cambridge Social Media Day. And one of the things I was talking about was analytics and search volumes, which I was kind of like demonstrating as part of a workshop. And I was demonstrating it live. I didn't intend to actually go a little bit deeper into the analytics, but I was showing people keywords everywhere in TubeBuddy, and how to get like search volumes for traffic for YouTube content. And I hovered my mouse over a little graph that came up in the keywords everywhere results in the search results list. And I didn't even think of it at the time. It popped up this other little kind of window I didn't even know was there before. And I was like, I'm really glad that happened, because it showed an increase in the number of monthly searches. And I was demonstrating best streaming software as a keyword, as a key phrase, sorry. And it was 5,400 searches a month. Okay. But when you actually look at the breakdown of it, back at the beginning part of the year, it was only a couple of hundred. And as soon as lockdown kicked in, that search volume you see quadrupled and then it doubled again. And then the same phases that we were talking about internally, where it's kind of like this big kind of like increasing curve and then a kind of a decreasing wave as we came out of lockdown. And now things are going a little bit kind of weird again. It's starting to increase again. You can actually see and correlate the search volume online with like the physical things that are happening out in the world as well. And I found it really interesting, and it kind of took a bit of a segue, or segue, whatever the term is, on the talk, where we kind of like dug into that for a little bit as well. It was really interesting. I'm glad that happened.
Well, that trend seems to be starting again. I mean, just looking at our web traffic numbers, our sign-up numbers, we're on pace here in November to potentially break the record for the number of monthly signups we've had historically. And so I think you're right, Dan, this roller coaster ride we're on of increased traffic and then a little bit of a letdown because we get back out into the world again. And then now we're hunkering back down in our homes again. And all those numbers are showing they're increasing again. They're back on the uptick. So I think we're back in one of those swings, which, obviously is good for product growth, but it's bad for the reasons that they're facilitating it, obviously.
Yeah, and it's just riding the wave. In my mind, it's you do what you got to do to kind of get through it, and that's all you can do, really. So
we've been able to take advantage of that wave by building, I think, some pretty cool things on the product side while all this has been happening.
You want to jump into product stuff, don't you? I can see that
He seems
in your eye.
It's just itching.
It's like, really? Shall we? Should we just like Mike and I just both go off camera and just leave Jason?
Hey Dan, don't forget.
Oh, too far.
Don't forget.
Too far, like that.
Well, before we get into product stuff, I think it's important to rewind a little bit and talk about at least our like core thesis as a team and what that looks like for creators, both ourselves internally and for everybody around the world. Like the things that we've observed and seen from kind of late 2018 when we really started exploring this world, and all the way up till now. I think one, we have this core belief that everybody has a story to tell, and that story should be heard. Dan's wearing the shirt. But the reality of that is like there's multiple ways for a story to be heard. And we've realized, there's opportunity, especially it started off as a play on words, right? Like this idea that the volume is off for all of these creative platforms, these feeds out there by default, and you can't actually hear anything. So the way to be heard is to add captions to the video content. But more than that, what we found out is that a huge part of the process is creators just uploading more content and creating new things and discovering what that voice is in and of themselves. And so like there's this transformation of something that started off kind of quirky and kind of as a play on words, but has also developed into this real core thesis of people have innate value, right? And in a world that is so polarizing, like how do you tap into the voice that you have that brings value out to the world and leveraging that and amplifying that? And so, as we have gone on as a product, one of the big things that we wanted to explore was how do we allow creators to upload just massive amounts of content into Quicc, and how do we impact their workflow from that standpoint? And early on, we knew that, one of the ways to do that was to make this content searchable, indexed, able to be clipped and repurposed very fast, very quickly. Quickly. But to take all of their content, historical content, all the new content that they're creating, and have a clear road, a clear funnel to be able to find that voice and find the pieces that really resonate with people. And, we've followed a lot of the big marketers out there who talk about content repurposing at scale, like Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sure most of the people watching this are familiar with that thought process, but it is finding what have you said 1,000 times, whether on camera or off camera, that resonates with people? And how do you find that moment and use it to your advantage as you tell your story, as you share about who you are, you talk about the brands that you represent, or if you're a voice of a brand or a client even, how does this transform your workflow? And when we were looking at this, it's very clear that if you try and go through a huge library of content for yourself, and you're like, oh, I remember I said this really awesome quote, but I don't remember what video that was in. Was it last year? Was it the year before? Was it at this event or that event? They all kind of blur together after a while. Being able to search it just by a phrase or a keyword and have something take you straight to that clip and then straight to that moment within the clip is super powerful. So we went and built that. And we're excited to announce that today that's rolling out in early access for all of our Quicc users. We've had some ambassadors and some other users who have been testing it out, trialing it out for about the last week. And we're really excited to start releasing that to all of our users, free and paid within Quicc, starting later this afternoon. So it's a big update coming.
That was quite cool. I quite like it. Funny enough, I actually demonstrated it today. First time I've demoed it live, in fact, since it was launched to the ambassadors.
I'm glad it didn't break.
Me too.
Or at least you didn't tell me.
Yeah, you got no support tickets in the last hour and a half, right, Jason?
Let me check.
But I think it's one of those things where some of the people I was actually speaking to, the people, it's like when you're speaking on a kind of virtual stage, people coming and going, the number of users are fairly consistent in the audience. And when I started demonstrating it, there were comments like, oh, so we can do that. Oh, that's interesting. Ooh. And lots of like oohs and like thumbs ups and, oh, I haven't seen that before. Because I don't think it's actually, I don't know of any other tool that can do that.
Hey, and hey, Dan, let me just jump on that too and kind of add to that, which I think is a really important point for our viewers who are watching this to really understand and grasp. The term search is not a new term, right? And the idea of searching through video libraries is not a new concept. I mean, the most obvious thing we think about is we think about YouTube. And YouTube can have these massive video libraries that each individual creator or company holds. And you can obviously have a search engine. You can enter a keyword search and you get video results from that. But I think what it's really important to convey is how those searches are conducted. And they're conducted by meta tags or file names or the very limited text that is in the about description of the video. And that's the extent of the search capability, which is why sometimes you get video results where you're not quite sure why that's relevant to the term you just typed into the search engine. But when we're talking about Quicc, it's not about searching titles or about meta tags. It's about saying every second, every moment of your entire video library is now immediately keyword searchable, and you can pull content within seconds from that library. That's the game-changing distinction of Quicc search versus what we always think of in a traditional video search engine.
Yeah, just to put that into perspective too, because as we were scoping this out and planning this from a product standpoint, it was really interesting to discover the little nuances in the user experience. So if you think about YouTube, obviously, it is a hidden algorithm, right? It is an algorithm that is designed to be completely unknown, even by the engineers at YouTube, by the way, to help drive more advertising for Google as a company. And so the whole goal there is to have something that people can't figure out how to deliver a specific video based off of a specific search query or keyword phrase search. And that's not helpful if you're trying to create your own content or clip out moments of what you've already recorded. And so this is where we wanted to focus on the creator side, is before you publish anything, or even if you have an archived library, if you're a YouTube creator and you've got 100 videos on YouTube, being able to pull all of those into Quicc and then to repurpose that content, even if there are areas in those videos that perform really, really well, and you just want to use that for an Instagram story, or you want to make a new TikTok video out of it. Like, these are some of those workflows that we're really thinking about. And as we got deeper and deeper into understanding like what's going to be the most valuable flow for that, there's a couple things. One, we've got to be able to pull content from a lot of different places, right? So we've got integrations planned with YouTube, with Zoom, with Google Drive and Dropbox, and some of these other areas, so that you can just suck all of that content in very, very fast. But what that meant was we even had to revamp our entire pricing model and the way that we charge for our service, because we can't limit people on minutes anymore coming into Quicc if we want to really live up to our core value, our core thesis, which is to be heard. And so with this big search update, we're also launching a pricing update that I think will benefit users tremendously. We've also seen the space when it comes to like burnt-in captions or creating transcripts out of video content. I mean, it's ever since we launched, it's another fast follower taking the same approach and charging lower and lower and lower amounts of money per minute from a transcribe standpoint. But we looked at some and we know what the infrastructure cost is to serve this up. And we're like, they're losing money on every single file they do, and they're not going to be around in a year. And now we're able to say, okay, well, the core value has shifted, and we know what it takes, and we know what we can promise and deliver. And so with our new pro pricing plan, we're actually allowing creators to upload to their account 1,000 hours of content every month. 1,000 hours of content. And so this really more or less eliminates the need to think about minutes or count minutes, like what do I have left? Yeah, we hope that will be a really good way to bring value alongside of our search capabilities, because it fundamentally changes what you're focused on. Because finding the thing and clipping it out, you have to have a transcript for it. So we believe all of these videos should be captioned. We believe all of these videos should have transcripts available for them. So why not do it for all of them? And that's where we ended up. So like it's been this interesting journey of, you know, how do we adjust in the right way so that we can be sustainable as a company, you know, with some of the partnerships that we've built over the last few years. I mean, we've got some really incredible creators, but also incredible names of companies that we've been able to work with over the last year and a half, and that just blows me away.
So let me just jump on that too. And sorry, Dan, we're ping pong. Jason and I are ping ponging back and forth, but we're going to bring you back in here.
Don't forget.
But he says something. It triggers a thought in me. I say something, triggers a thought in Jason. But for a minute, creators, think about this. You've always had to do your due diligence to shop the per minute price, to either transcribe or to caption, to make sure that you're maximizing your spend with whatever workflow that you're working on. And now in Quicc, it's just a base thing we do with search. I mean, the word unlimited isn't quite there because Jason did say 1,000 hours. Well, I guess that's not unlimited, but it's pretty darn close, isn't it? So the idea of saying, okay, search is the value prop, that's the power of the product. Captioning and transcribing, we're going to handle that for you. That's not going to add a cost element to your workflow. And now you get the bonus addition of being able to search and pull in that historical video library and repurpose it. Man, I mean, that's why we're so darn excited, Dan.
And I mean, I'm going to layer on top of both of what you just said. I think from what I've always been talking to creators about, I mean, especially this year, and if I go back beyond, so just before this year, I mean, I talk a lot with creators, influencers, you know, execs and everything within agencies, you know, social media agencies, marketing agencies, PR, that kind of stuff. That tends to be my wheelhouse of connections, obviously, you know, given what I do. And a lot of them for years have been talking about the transition to online or the transition towards e-commerce, you know, the phasing out or reduction of in-person events, the phasing out and reduction of physical offices and going more to virtual teams. And I remember I worked at I headed up operations actually for a global hosting business, as you guys know, but other people may not. And even then, this is going back, 6-7 years ago now, a company called DigitalOcean came out in the hosting world, and they disrupted the hosting market because I had responsibility for offices in northern Utah, Phoenix, London, 2 offices in London actually, 27 data centers, and there was an office out in Ukraine, and it was a global business, but there were physical offices in those different countries. And DigitalOcean came out, and straight away they were a completely remote support and engineering team. And so I had like 4 or 5 people from the Utah office basically resign because they were paid double the salary, and like a home office got kitted out for them, and they were like, can you match it? And I was like, no, I can't, like, at all. I can't even entertain the idea. And then people from the London office were taken, and then people from the Ukraine office were taken. They just literally kind of like cherry picked the best engineers from all of my offices and just headhunted them. But from my perspective, that was really annoying. But from a disruptive perspective, that was phenomenal. And if you look at the growth that DigitalOcean had as a business, they just took off, and they're I don't even know what the valuation is now. It's ridiculous. It's like through the roof. They're really, really big. And map that kind of a growth pattern to what we see in businesses now. Most people I speak to think that, or know in fact, that this whole COVID thing, as whole as it's been for many, many people, it has massively accelerated the transition to virtual teams, to online content, to video, to search, to the requirement to really knuckle down and be more strategic about how you grow your influence online, and you grow your personal brand, your business brand. I mean, in-person events and face-to-face meetings have very much taken the back foot for almost the entire of this year. And I think what we've done at Quicc is managed to almost do what DigitalOcean did in, back many years ago, where we've just seen the market and said, well, where the market is going to, where it's been accelerated towards, it doesn't make sense anymore. And that constant, what they call it, it's not copying, it's called modeling. Isn't that the phrase?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Modeling the successes of other businesses and then just doing it cheaper and doing it quicker. That's been done for years, like for millennia even. But especially in the world that we live in now, I don't think modeling really works nearly as well as it used to. And I think it's more about zagging when everyone else zigs. And I think that's what Quick's done quite well, especially with this new launch, is that everyone else was doing per minute billing. Everyone else was doing per minute captioning. And we just looked at it and thought, people don't want that anymore. Like, it's a pain to hunt for a cheaper deal or a better brand or feature by feature matching. It's like, who wants to do that? So we just thought, we'll just disrupt and do something completely different. And I don't think many of the people who are competing with us, I don't think many of them will follow suit, because I don't think they have the financial ability to, and I don't think they have the long-term strategic ability to either, because we're playing the long game and they're playing the 6 months or less game. And
well, I
good
mean,
luck.
And it's a good point, Dan, because like from day one, we knew to have a searchable library of content that was really valuable to a creator, you have to survive 5, 10, 20 years, right? You
Totally.
can't disappear after a few months as a startup. And so focusing on the unit economics of what we do was huge. And I think it really helped us build a strong foundation that has paved the way for search. And as we continue to roll that out and to create kind of this environment within creators' workflows that is fast, you have full control over. You're not sending this out. I mean, it was crazy to me because we've seen, like, in my own feeds, I now get ads for the types of companies that are kind of in this general space. And the number of companies that I've seen kind of spinning up lately, where it's like, hey, give us $495 a month and we'll create unlimited social content with the headline and the captions and like this format and all of that. Like just $495 a month. I was like, what? Like, oh, yeah, I guess we could do this, that, and all these things within our existing Quicc infrastructure with search now. Like the clipping we do, like we can add the captions, we can brand them, like we could put that through a video template if we needed to in our post-production process. And we're nowhere near that price. So you can start to like offload some of these other agency components that maybe you've been utilizing or using, because it's just like, well, I don't know how to create all this content in mass, and I don't want to spend all my days in Premiere or Final Cut or DaVinci Resolve. And so, we're trying to make that whole flow super smooth and super fast, so you don't have to wait for somebody to overnight that piece of content back to you, or to, spend the afternoon and then say, oh, sorry, I had to go in for a COVID test, and now they're delayed a day and your content's delayed a day. I mean, when you have full ownership and control over that pipeline, whether it's you or a member on your team, it feels so much smoother.
I mean, you mentioned for a second there, agencies and workflows. And we had Rebecca Ward on this show last week, and she runs social media channels for her clients. And one of the things that I was talking to her about, I can't remember if it was offline or online, but her business has, throughout the course of this year, has just gone nuts. Like, she's been so busy because, all of her clients, all of a sudden, they want to be, doubling, tripling, quadrupling, 10xing, whatever, their social presence. And when I told her about the search, she was telling me I don't need to download a video into iMovie, cut it all out, export it, upload it, caption it, and I'd have to do all of that. I can just upload it and then clip it. And I was like, yeah. And I think she immediately actually asked me how to sign up as an affiliate, which is quite funny. Very, very entrepreneurial of her, because we like her. But from an agency perspective, she is being tasked by her clients on a daily basis to put out new, original, interesting content, when the source material is not daily, new, original content.
Right.
So
because creating the new content is still too expensive. I mean, if you break it down and you are creating brand new content every single day, there are a few people who can go and do that. But it requires so much manpower, and more than that, like the skills that are needed to do it well is still a high skill set. And so like our goal as a company is like, how can we help bring that skill set down, make it easier, right? So if you're looking for the Canva of finding your content and clipping it and adding captions to it, that's what we're trying to do. Be that Canva to the Adobe, because the process is just so much smoother. It's so much easier. And you can do it in a web-based interface. And one of the big things that we've been talking about a lot, because we realize that for a lot of people, downloading then uploading again, like that's a big burden. So how can we go and like sync your content from other areas and bring that into your Quicc library without it ever hitting your local device? I mean, that's where it really becomes fast, right? Because if we're turning transcripts around for like a 10-15 minute YouTube video, if we can turn a transcript around in less than 2 minutes, and we can have that entire thing indexed in the next 30 seconds, and then you can search for a piece of content within that YouTube video just for like a teaser trailer on Instagram stories, and you can clip that piece of content, review the transcript for that 15-second clip, make any edits that you need, put branded captions on it, and download it or post it directly to Instagram, all within 5 minutes. Like that's a huge value prop, and that's really what you can start to do with things like search.
I think the algorithmic changes this year of just geeking out slightly on the marketing tech side of things. One of the things I was talking about on this talk I gave today at the Game Social Media Day was about the volume of content you need to give YouTube as a new YouTuber before you actually start to see any form of growth. And when you look at the algorithms to give it the data it needs, you need to consistently feed it new content. And if you look at pretty much any creator that I know of, at least, they didn't start to get any form of traction on YouTube as a platform before they had uploaded between 50 to 100 videos, in many cases more. And it takes that volume of content to start getting traction. And if you look at other social media platforms, it used to be you had to, say, post every single day on LinkedIn, every single day, put a grid post out on Instagram, 5 to 15 stories out on Instagram stories and so on. Now, because there's so much content and there's such variety, even the top creators out there, they're saying either you put out daily like carousels and you do it as like a content creation type of thing, or just post 3 to 5 times a week. Because if you post daily, your content is actually competing with each other and it's just like butting heads constantly, vying for the same audience types. So a lot of the people I've been speaking to about this behind the scenes, especially our influencers, is if you can create 1 or 2 long form pieces of content a week, which pretty much everyone can do, and then you can just, clip a piece out of that, clip a piece out of there, make an Instagram carousel, which you can get VA to do for, $10 an hour or something. That basically becomes your entire week's worth of content. And the influencers that I've been speaking to, they said, so I can either like halve my workflow time and keep exactly doing the same what I'm doing now, or I can double what I'm doing now and it won't cost me anything different in terms of time or effort. And I was like, flip a coin, pick. Depends on what you want to do. And that's where a lot of people are coming from with it, that I speak to at least. So I'm very curious to see what the wider public and our wider audience thinks as soon as they start getting their hands on this, because we're launching it today, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm very curious how it's going to change people's workflows, for sure. The marketer in me and the geek in me just wants to see numbers and data and graphs and nice pretty pie charts.
Yeah, I have a feeling that our uploaded content is going to really go through the roof over the next few weeks, especially with some of the deals that we're running for Black Friday, which our people should tune into. Keep an eye out for.
Man, you don't want to give them any more than that, Jason?
No, I can't. I got to make them go look for it.
Wow. Well, when they see the price point, I mean, this is a premium product and a premium service. When they see the price point, I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised with what we're promoting it for. Don't you guys?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I you may want to sack me for saying this, but honestly, there were a number of people out there who will look at the price point and think, I want that for $10 a month. Yeah. And that you're not our people. Frankly, it sounds a bit harsh, but if you really want to be looking at, per pennies on the minutes pricing, that's not the way to look at this. It's, if you look at it from the wider picture, I can't actually go wide because these guys are kind of like stuck in the middle. But wider picture, the time saving alone on just finding content is insane. Like, I mean, from our internal points of view, we've uploaded every single Quicc Gains episode, walkthroughs, YouTube videos, everything. We've stuck it all into this platform. And I can create, or Claire or Brie can create, an entire week's worth of content in less than an hour. And that is worth a lot more than $10 a month.
You're really talking about taking a process that was hours and hours and hours into seconds and minutes, right? I mean, that's the impact of this product in that workflow.
I did one live on this talk today. I'm glad it worked.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Wasn't me, it was the dev guys. They're the ones who make it all magical and make that happen.
I searched.
I found
the clip.
And then
I extended it. Clicked, and it was done within 30 seconds.
Well, I'm sure our users and our audience members here, they probably want to see us do something with this, right? Like, they want to
You've
see
been
how
wanting to
we-
click the share screen button for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I really want to click it.
Oh, Jason gonna demo?
Yeah, I can show it off.
Why not?
We're talking quick search
Well,
here.
hey, Dan is the host. I mean, listen, I know that we own the company, but Dan is the host. Is it okay with Dan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is that the right answer?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. No, that's a terrible answer. Well, let me know when you can
Hang
see
on.
my screen.
I need to allow you.
There we
Go.
go.
Got it.
All right.
Am I still the rose between two thorns? Can that still be
No.
the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's the vertical Brady Bunch as opposed to the horizontal Brady
It's a
Bunch.
stack.
Yeah.
The rose between a stack of thorns.
The stack of thorns. Okay, so for everybody who is familiar with Quicc, you'll know that this is our upload page. You can see that I've got about 10 hours worth of content here, 10 and a half hours worth of content in my library. And we're going to go up here to the videos tab, and not much has changed. There is a new little section below your time bar that is the videos and clips sections. Now, the reason that we created this is we want a clear difference and delineation between videos that you've uploaded and videos that you've created. And this is an important piece of information, especially for any legacy Quicc users. We're not changing price points, or we're not changing pricing for anybody who currently has a Quicc subscription, but we needed to make this backwards compatible with that. So if you still want to use the minutes like process and you're in, great. And we'll make that available as you go. And so with that, we needed to have, the clips don't count towards your minute bar at all. And the video uploads is where we make that calculation. So as people are uploading content. So in my library, you'll see all these videos that I've created, quite a few of them. And then I also have this new little search icon on the side. So I can open this up. And I know that I've ran a dev update. I can search dev update here. And it's going to automatically search through all of that 10 and a half hours worth of content and find the videos in which I said dev update. And this is pulling in on this specific video, this AmCham Quicc video. It's got a bunch of different locations within that video in which I uttered those words. So I can open up that entire stack and I can see, okay, if I'm looking for the caption video that I already have burned in captions on, or if I want to do the original video, maybe change that caption style. I can choose between those and I can see every single iteration of where I was mentioning these words as highlighted here in this green teal color. And then I've got an older Quicc dev update video that I've got. So maybe we'll just jump into this one. I'll go with the original video here and we'll load this up. And this will take us directly to this clipping editor, as we call it. And so in the clipping editor, we can do a few different things, but it helps us find exactly that moment within that video that we want to clip out and use. So in this case, it's going to jump me straight to where that search query was in the video. So here it's about 2.5 seconds towards the end of the video, and we'll highlight it here in this transcript. So I'm just saying, thanks for tuning in to the Dev Quicc update. And you can see that this transcript isn't an edited transcript because we were pulling from the original video and the original transcript. But let's say that I wanted to adjust this clip a little bit. I'll mute this, but I can play back and see the text that I'm going to be capturing from this transcript down below. And then I can also see, the full section of the video that I'm going to be clipping out. So I'll add a title to this. And we'll save that clip. And so now we're going and we're post-processing on that video and actually clipping out that piece of content. And so this is all happening on our backend server side. So you don't have to download the video. You don't have to, clip it on your local machine and then re-upload it again. We're going ahead and doing all of that. So this 14-second clip will probably take 20, 30 seconds for us to complete, and it will finish this clipping process. And then since we edited the original video, we can go in and re-edit those captions. So we can make any text changes that we want, or we can do stylization that's different from maybe the completed version that we had done before. So it'll put it just into the ready to edit status inside of Quicc, and then we can go in just like we do on a traditional Quicc workflow, change the text and add some stylization, and then burn in those captions. Then that SRT is available if you need it. You can grab the original video as well. You can do all sorts of things from that point. So other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Now it's just re-edit, go in, we can adjust the style. So if I want to grab a style, choose a preset, change the location, stick it up here, burn in those captions, and it's going to be done here in a minute or so. So that's it. That's the whole flow. We've tried to make it as simple and as straightforward as possible so that you can do this fast and you can get it done quickly. Most of the work is just juggling the millions and millions of lines of indexed content on the back end and trying to find that piece for your video as fast as possible so that we can serve that up and let you clip it out and get it back into your production pipeline.
So think about that for a minute, everyone. I mean, this live stream is generally about an hour. If Jason was looking for that same piece of content, that same little clip in traditional processes, he would have spent the entire hour of this live stream and then some, just trying to find that one clip he'd been searching for. And we completed the whole process, got it clipped. He's captioning it right now. He's finalizing that burn in. He'll have it here probably in the next 30 seconds to a minute. And he's done with his workflow and he's on to other tasks. Or now he can go get lunch, or now he can spend more time with his family, or now he can create more content. And that's the power of the time savings that this tool is creating.
Done. We're done.
There you go.
Is that a mic drop moment?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I mean, it's crazy because we don't even know how creators are going to use this to the full extent. And we've had students say, well, can I just upload all of those Zoom calls that I'm on into Quicc? And then I can search for, like, I forgot that polynomial algebra thing that I'm supposed to learn, like, like polynomials. Oh, it was last Tuesday. And at 15 minutes and 48 seconds into this hour and a half long Zoom call that we started talking about that. And I mean, so like there's insane applications for this. And we get really excited every day on how people are going to kind of leverage this and use this quick search tool. But really the goal for us is free up your time, get out of this workflow as fast as possible, get it done, get it out there, and get back to what you enjoy doing.
And I mean, just laying on that, I was talking just last week actually with Owen Video, who's someone we work with quite on a regular basis. One of our many advocates, bless him. And when I was talking to him, we literally spent about 10-15 minutes just brainstorming and kicking around different ideas about how we can use this sort of a system and this solution. I'm no longer a rose between two thorns. Oh, different layout. Actually, I like this layout.
Now he's up over here.
I am. And we brainstorm different ideas. And if you spend just a couple of minutes thinking about different ways that you can actually use the ability to search video content that you have in your own video library, it becomes really interesting. And it's not just social media. I mean, we talk about social media content and clipping on its own because that's like the end goal that a lot of people are going to be using this for. But one of the things that we brainstormed, we kicked around, was just the pure ability to search. And I mean, he does a lot of course content. So he's like, so if someone raised a question, in his chat messenger marketing, his chat bot, or dropped an email saying, where can I learn about blah, wherever this topic is, he's like, he can literally just log into an account with all of his course content in there, search for that term, and it's like, it's this video at this timestamp, there you go. Let us know if you've got any other questions. And it's like, oh, so you can do that as well. That's interesting. Yeah, so you think of it from a support point of view. You know, if you've got loads of help videos, loads of tutorials, if you've got live streams, if you've got, you know, shows like I did today, and we all of us talk quite regularly on different platforms that give someone an answer to a question, we can literally answer that question by pointing the person asking the question in the direction of a video. So all of a sudden your support capability becomes scalable. You know, because then if you start building APIs around the search feature, and Jason's smiling because he knows how my brain works. If you start building API integrations into the search feature, and you have a system where you've got an entire library of help content, as an example, then your support becomes automatable. You know, I said I worked for a hosting business in previous life, and I did. The amount of how-to videos and product walkthroughs were insane. It was like hundreds, thousands even of videos about how to do all this different thing in the infrastructure and hosting world. But giving the user the ability to search for that content themselves and take them straight to the video and the timestamp within that video, or clip the little snippet out that they answers the question they want and deliver it to them within a messenger marketing function, you know, however you want to develop it. When you start brainstorming different ideas, it is a rabbit hole that Owen and I could have quite happily talked for hours about. Because there's so many different applications to it. It really becomes a rabbit hole.
You know, Jason and I, we have conversations with organizations and creators, you know, several times a week in different verticals, industries, use cases. You know, we talked to a church, you know, at the end of last week, who thought, what if we took, my gosh, our historical archive of video sermons that we've given, and because churches are all about clipping and repurposing historical messaging and content and refreshing that in the minds of their congregation members, or you think about, you know, as you said, academics and educators, you know, those types of things, not to mention just simple YouTube creators and their historical libraries, sports, film, media. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And Jason raised his finger, and he has another example, don't you, Jason?
A new one that I heard of the other day was like sales calls, because sales calls are now like all virtual, right? And so like sales calls, if you forget what you said, but you like, okay, what did I quote somebody? You know, what was that in this Zoom call that I recorded? Oh, okay, like I can upload and search for the name of the person, like, okay, pricing or whatever the quote package was. So I think it even changes, and I've seen this in myself, it changes how I speak on shows or in my tutorial videos that I do, because I start to like keyword log, like, all right, if I'm like, a great example would be if I was helping somebody connect a website to GoDaddy, you know, I might open it up saying like, well, and here's how you connect your Webflow website to a GoDaddy, you know, DNS server. And it's like, now I can search Webflow and GoDaddy, and I get that video, right? So I could start that video straight from a support standpoint. And so it's really interesting how you think about what you're saying and how you script out your content, or how you just talk on the fly, because it gives you these keyword moments throughout content that you can just kind of like drop audio markers. And I even talked to a video guy who is looking at maybe doing B-roll. So just like the cinematic, like waterfall B-roll. And he was going to talk in the background, because it very rarely use the audio from the B-roll. And so like he would be waterfall, forest scene, big mountains, upload that into search. And then you could search specifically for the B-roll that you want based off of what you were saying while you were shooting the B-roll. And so like, that's
really
crazy
clever.
stuff. Like just insane use cases that we've heard as we've started to talk about this and share this with early access.
So I was talking to a family member just recently, and I was explaining it to them. Explain to some of my family, because they're complete non-techies. So I had to kind of like explain it, like really explain it. And I was talking to him, and he said, and he works in the financial services world. It's like, so you're telling me that you can upload videos of like video calls or actual audio calls even and make all of those searchable automatically. I was like, yes. He goes, so if I work in audit, which he does, and I was like, yes, I see where you're going with this. And he's like, oh, so if someone said that one of my team said something, I could search for the calls within that time frame for that particular phrase or keywords that they've accusing my team member of saying, and go straight to that call and the position within that call. I don't have to scrub through 9 hours of calls after work to find if they did or did not say it. And I was like, no, you don't, not anymore. And they were like, the amount of times they've had to do that apparently would make my eyes bleed. They've literally, after their day has finished, they've stayed back, headphones in, and then just scrubbed through hours and hours of call recordings to effectively support one of their team members. And the HR person down below, I'm sure that's have to happen to Mike a few times. But that's another use case.
You know, as we think through the use cases, and there's so many of them, and we're discovering more, each and every day, each and every week, as you just pointed out, Dan. Let's say this one thing I want to make sure we get into this live stream too. I think it's another really important piece for everyone who's watching to hear and understand. As powerful as this is, right out of the gate with search, this is an MVP. This is a minimum viable product. It's the starting point for us with search. There are so many places that we can go and expand and evolve this product towards. So I encourage everyone out there who's watching and is either using the product right when we launch it or becomes a user at some point in the near future. We welcome and we appreciate feedback, ideas, input on how can we continue building this tool to best suit the way that each of you use it. And we can build on the speculation of what we think you want and need, but the best product is built when we hear directly from you guys. So whether that's through social, whether it's through support, whether that's through direct messaging to any of us on this call today, let us know what you want this to do, and we will build it for you.
Yeah. And just to give kind of a sneak peek of what we immediately know ourselves is super valuable. One, integrations to existing video platforms so that you don't have to download and upload stuff. Now, if you want your content in there right away to be searchable and indexable, like I would absolutely encourage that. But being able to connect YouTube, connect Zoom, connect Vidyard, some of these platforms where creators already have content, like that's one of our top priorities. Right after we launch this week. And the other component is being able to filter through your content in unique and different ways. So right now we have a filter setting. You might have seen it as I was going through the search process, but it's just to isolate the caption videos. So I only want to search through the videos that I've already finalized. I've already gone through the entire flow through Quicc. And you can isolate those caption videos because then you're just clipping something out, download the file, and you're done. You don't have to go in and re-edit or burning captions or anything like that because they've already been done. So there's filtering things that we're interested in. And so if you have unique and interesting ways that you think you could filter through your content, please let me know, because that's something that we would love to increase our robustness around. Also, multiple languages coming online here in the next few weeks. I think we have over 20 languages we're going to be putting online in the next few weeks. So seeing those roll out in early access and having people play with them and touch them, because we don't speak 20 languages here. So we need help understanding how well those are performing and if there's unique use cases for that in particular. And there's a few other things we'll surprise you with, but it's going to be a good end of 2020, and it'll be really fun going into the new year with search gaining more usage and traction from that standpoint. Please don't break our stuff.
I was about to say something similar.
So Dan,
your questions.
Dan,
Yes.
what have we missed
go.
today? Anything that you think we need to cover while we've got while we're all together on this live stream?
No, I think we've covered most of it. I think for me, I mean, I'm just very interested to see how how the feedback starts just coming in. Because like you say, at the end of the day, we're a startup business. So we're a startup. So, innovation is what we do, and we're a business. So by definition, we're problem solvers. So we can't do that unless we have feedback from our audience, and from our users and from anyone else who's got an opinion. So like you say, I absolutely encourage the feedback. Where I see it growing is more of like a video management kind of platform. Almost like you log in and you've got it's your own personal search engine almost for your video content. That's kind of how I see it happening. Whether that's what our users want or not, who knows? We'll see. But I'm very interested to see how it plays out for sure. And the second thing is that, as we spoke about at the beginning, say that 10 times on your head. As we spoke about in the beginning, I know for my team with Claire and Bree, they've been working relentlessly, just getting through this year and keeping up with everything. We're a small, agile team. I know the dev guys have been just working constantly. Pretty sure not sleeping.
There's been a few long days.
Exactly. And I think it's just we're going to carry on doing what we do as a team. We're going to carry on growing as we do as a business. And any feedback you've got for us, let us know. For sure.
And Dan, let's acknowledge the obvious. Quicc search is here because of the loyal Quicc user base that we've had for the first 18 months we've been in market. I mean, we'd be remiss if we didn't thank every one of you out there watching who has been a user of Quicc in these first 18 months, because your decision to give Quicc a shot and then stick with Quicc has kept us in the game long enough to bring this product to you. We couldn't have done it without all of you. So if you're a Quicc creator, thank you from not just the three of us on this call, but every member of our team. We're very grateful to have had that loyalty and that support.
And shall we talk about the affiliate changes we're making as well? We didn't touch on that yet. But we are also making some changes to our affiliate channel. So I won't go into the details of what those changes look like.
Make them click the links.
Yes,
but links.
But if you're a current affiliate, you're about to get excited, and if you're not an affiliate, you say, this Quicc team seems like a pretty good team. Wow, this product sounds amazing. I want to be an ambassador and affiliate of that. You should come check us out.
Yes, we are making interesting changes that would be appealing to all, put it that way. We are definitely doubling down on the affiliate partnerships that we have been very blessed to have. So if you're not involved yet, do. So anything else that we should cover today? I've actually done a quick fire round. I haven't even thought of quick fire questions yet, but I can think of them on the fly. They may be risque, they may not be. Who knows? We shall see how it goes.
Well, here we go.
Who goes first?
Right. Only because I was playing the game earlier, before we came on the stream. Who would win in a fight? Romulans or Vulcans?
Vulcans.
Romulans or Vulcans?
Vulcans.
I would say probably... Oh, yeah. The death grip, if they can get it locked in. Yeah, sure, we'll go with Vulcans. Sure.
What was the last non-fiction book you read cover to cover? Jason, go.
Discrete Mathematics, a lesson in pain and suffering.
Really?
Probably.
God, that sounds depressing. Were you having a bad day?
No, I just don't read things cover to cover really anymore.
Fair enough. Mike, last non-fiction book you read?
How to Scale a SaaS Product, the book for dummies.
Okay. Did you finish it?
No, it seemed too way over my head, Dan.
Okay, that's fine. I understand. Best movie of all time. Mike, go.
Star Wars: A New Hope. Is there any other?
So glad you started. Yeah, that's good. We can stop there. Jason?
Toy Story.
1, 2, or 3?
1.
Okay, good. Is there a 4?
Probably.
I can't remember.
Disney is a money machine.
Favorite season Spring, summer, autumn, or winter? Just in case we're curious.
Spring.
Mike.
Summer.
Most embarrassing thing you've ever done?
Jason's going first.
Pooped my pants at a soccer match.
How old were you? Was it last year?
Like 7? No.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't last year. It's like 7.
Mike. That could be the last one.
Probably took
Hiring me?
took a 5-hour energy drink before I gave a presentation at a university because I had not slept the night before, because at that time I had toddlers who weren't sleeping either. Had to drive 4 hours, give a presentation at university, was completely wiped, took a 5-hour energy, and let's just say it was a memorable presentation.
There's a much better story behind that is definitely best had in person during karaoke.
Oh, yeah, 'cause Mike
Yeah,
sings.
you probably need to get a drink or two into me before I would actually elaborate on that story. But
Oh, it's a shame.
Fun fact, his favorite drink is a White Russian.
it's true.
What's a White Russian? I don't drink.
Milk, vodka, and
Kahlua.
Kahlua.
Okay. That sounds very exotic.
It is. If you want to bribe me, that's the best way to do it right there.
Good to know. Right. So affiliates, if you want to level up your commission structures, then you know how.
The formula has been released to the world.
It has. So wrapping up, because this week was slightly different because we had some special guests, extra special, obviously, with us today. I've actually got 2 live streams this week. So we have another live stream, same bat channel, same bat time, 10 a.m. CST tomorrow, i.e. Thursday, where we have the ever smiley, ever full of energy May King joining us, who graciously agreed to shift from Wednesday to Thursday. She was also covering another event today as well for, I think it was Agora Pulse. So she actually kind of quite appreciated the alleviation of time today. So join us tomorrow with May King. We're going to talk about FOMO, how to generate it, how to create it, how to leverage FOMO for events, selling, getting traffic into your funnels, converting. It'll be interesting. So
I can't wait to hear May King share about FOMO, because she's a FOMO champion.
Do you know what? Social media marketing world, they had this leaderboard of the number of tweets that were created, and she actually won by a fair margin, and all the people who came behind her were actual brands, not individuals, brands, and she did more tweets individually than actual brands with teams.
Wow.
And I was like, how did you do that? She goes, I just worked. I was like,
I just worked hard.
yeah, that was her only answer. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And she is full of energy and she's slightly nuts. So it should be interesting.
Can't wait.
Yes.
Thank you, Dan.
And May King tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Been a pleasure as always. We may upload this video into Quicc Search and use search to then clip snippets of wisdom. Who knows?
Oh, we will.
We could
We
do.
got to find that May King piece. If I say May King, May King, May King, May King, May King a bunch of times, now you're going to know exactly the part of the video to go clip.
Yeah, exactly.
Found it.
Done. So, catch you later, guys. Thank you very much for joining. Have a good afternoon, day, morning, wherever you are in the world. And we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Dan.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.